My goodness, let me play a D note. Hello everybody, this is Paul Gilbert. I hope you enjoyed the solo that I played, and I want to tell you about it. Besides sheer panic, the thing I was thinking was, first I wanted to have a melody, and so I came up with a lyric, and the lyric is, well, it's hard not to meander. What a word, meander. When you ain't got nothing to say. And that was inspired by my first stab at playing the solo, where I was just, trying to play over the changes, and I was playing my usual licks, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just meandering over this thing, and then the word meander, I thought, well, that's kind of a cool word, so, well, it's hard not to meander, and that became a rhythm. Well, it's hard not to meander when you ain't got nothing to say. That's my rhythm, and the melody became 1 and 2 and 3. Well, it's hard not to meander when you ain't got nothing to say. Something like that. That's all based on, well, it's hard not to meander when you ain't got nothing to say. And suddenly I have something to say. And that was really helpful to have that play through most of the piece. So for playing that melody, it's one, it's not, I'm not playing the harpsichord, I'm playing the electric guitar, so I've got a lot of elements of expression that, if I can get them right, hopefully they'll sound good. So, one of the biggest things is like having instincts about long and short notes. And as soon as I say that phrase, I always am worried that everybody listening to me talk is going to go like, what? Long and short? I'm going to go to watch the next video because this one's not interesting anymore. Long and short is so important. It makes such a difference. If I played everything the same length, or just played everything, it just gets really lifeless. And so it's that those sudden stops, those short, and then some notes are long. So that's the sort of thing, and I plan it out a little bit by just playing through it, but that's so important, and it's not easy to teach, but I do. If you want to come to my online school, I'll show you a lot of ways to get long and short into your fingers and into your instincts, into your ears. But anyway, that's there. So that's, and I'm doing a lot of that, like fake sweeps. The very first note, those things are important to be able, instead of like being real careful, the small little notes. If you go like that, you can use a big, that helps me find it without having to look at it. Because there's 6 strings. How am I going to find that one that's buried in the middle? If I sweep across, it helps me to like sort of feel my way, and that's really useful. So it slides. And that, by the way, is, well, it's hard, so hard, not to meander. I bet you never thought that would be not to meander, but that's where that came from. Not to meander, but it's hard, so. All right, now there were some parts where I did sort of meander through my scale arpeggio-shaped things. And maybe I think that's okay. Once you've sort of established the melody, you've got a little bit of license to mess around with the more guitar licky kind of things. All right, so let's take a breath. This is going to be part 2 of that meandering through these things. So I want to show you one of the most things that's helped me so much in making it through these kind of changes, and that is to not play all the notes in a scale, but mostly to play the triad plus the ninth. And that sounds like this. So for example, we go. This is A major. If I'm playing the triad, that's 1, 3, 5 in your scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then and get a video like this. It's easy to think that that's useful. And maybe if you're playing a lot of classical music, that you'll hear triads in classical music. In rock and roll, or this sort of thing we're doing here, triads are a little, I don't know, formal sounding or something. And to add that ninth, it's not like pure Iron Maiden heavy metal or Ramones punk rock, but it just seems to fit in better. That ninth softens it up a little bit. So the trick, we're guitar players, so it's not only what the notes are, but how to play them. And this one is a little bit challenging, but not impossible. And I want to show you the challenge. The challenge is that you got to land on your second finger. This is it. So that A note, the root, is with the second finger. Why is that a challenge? Because we're not used to that. As guitar players, we're used to landing on the first finger all the time. If you play your minor scale, minor pentatonic, every time you play a string, you get to land on the first finger. It's just you're used to having that be the end of things. And that's just such a physical habit that to end on the second finger feels really, it's like, well, it's going to be odd at first, but if you know that that's the way it's got to be for that particular set of notes, then you're probably saying, well, what if I played it here? That does work. That does let you play with your first finger each time. But you're not always there. Sometimes you want to play it here. And the nice thing about this is it really moves around well in octaves. So go 3 frets down, and that played on the 2 middle strings. Same fingers, same notes, just an octave lower. Still landing on that second finger. And then 2 frets down, 2 bottom strings. So you get a 3-octave range. Now, you're not necessarily going to do that all the time because it's a little exercisey to do that whole. But it sounds kind of nice, doesn't it? And you can always, do a turnaround in the middle. I did a little trick there where I did these. I don't know if I even did this in the song, but it's available if you want it. It's the same notes, not anything different. Just instead of playing them here, you're playing them here. It gives you a little turnaround before you go to your high one. You could even do a little pinky. Oh, sorry. Anyway, you get the idea. So I did a lot of that in outlining the chords. Now, I tried to get a little bit jazzy in that I didn't play the exact notes of the chord. I would add, like an extension, a ninth or a 13th or something to make it, sound a little less, just give it that jazzy flavor. So, for example, the middle section here is a D major 7th, the rhythm is, and a C sharp minor 7th, a B minor 7th. It sounds like that. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Or was it loving you? Pardon my falsetto. But anyway, it's those are the chords. And then the last one's kind of a surprising one because it's not the A major 7th as you would expect. It's actually an E major with A in the bass. It's kind of functioning as that, but it's got that different triad on top. So those are a chord: D major 7th, C sharp minor 7th, B minor 7th, and E over A. I'm really just looking at it as like 4 chord, 3 chord, 2 chord, and a 1 chord with some, E major flavor on it. So that's what we're playing over, and let's look at the notes that I chose that hopefully you like too. Over the D, I played the exact one I showed you. The A triad with the ninth. I didn't necessarily play it in that position of the guitar. I think I might have played it here. I mean, you can get it anywhere you can find it. So, like, for example, up here, then where would it be? You get this little part. That's the same as down here. It's an octave higher. Or you've got it with root on the A string, and then you've got to, play this. This part's actually kind of easy because it looks like F sharp minor pentatonic. You just don't play the F sharp. You got to jump down here to that one that lands on the second finger again. If you want to get it a little more range, you can either bar with the pinky, like that, or you could even jump all the way, or do a bend. I'm getting carried away with those. So that's over the D. And then over the C sharp, I did this one. Now this is like I'm thinking of it, I would use this over like a E major sus kind of thing. So it would be E, G sharp, A, and B. 2 notes on a string. And the same trick, you go 2 frets, and then up 3 frets. So that gives you the 3 octaves. And I'm using that over the C sharp minor 7th. At some point, I probably analyzed that and knew what the interval relationships were, but I forgot them because I had too much to think about with these shapes. And then we got B minor 7th, where I played the D version of that lick I showed you earlier. It's basically the D triad with the E note, that ninth, added in. And that's over the B. So, and then the last one, the E major over A. And that I played just the E, same lick, E triad, which is in the chord, and it's got, I guess, the F sharp added in. So, all right, so you can hear when I play it, but it was something, I just improvised I didn't work it out, but I improvised something like. Hopefully I played it better than that on the thing. All right, is there anything else before our brains explode that I did? At the end, I mean, again, I'm getting so much mileage out of this 2 note per string jumped in octaves thing. It's like the very last chord of the song is an A major 7th, and I went over that. Something like that. I don't know the exact pattern, but it was a really easy shape. It's just that kind of shape where it looks like a rectangle. You've got G sharp and B, and C sharp and E, and then the same thing in octave higher. So we'll go 2 frets up, and then 3 frets up. 1, 2, 3. Now this is a great way to get these under your fingers. Is do a pattern like. Whoops. There we go. So that's, that's a pretty common pattern. You just do like 2 notes descending, and then you start on the next higher note. Now the trick there, while you're in the rectangle, it's pretty easy to do that much. The trick is then the little transition to the next position. But if you practice and you know it's coming, it's not hard at all. So that's it right there. You just got to know that you got to get there. And I'm using a combination. I'm definitely not picking everything. There's a lot of or in this case, pull-offs. Whenever you play, 1 note on a string like here, that I've got to pick both of them. But as soon as I'm back in my rectangle, I can do pull-off, pick, pull-off. Yeah. Now what's the next transition? That one. That's a little tricky because that's with one finger, so you're in danger of the notes ringing together. You don't really want that, so I might be a little careful with muting here, or maybe even a little finger shift. So, or what do you call it, a roll? That way the notes don't ring into each other. And again, this over your A major seventh. Well, these are, I mean, any set of notes you can think of that are going to fit on those two strings, you can do that trick. You just got to get your transitions together. You got to do those quick jumps from octave to octave. You know, and you know that you got to practice so it's not that slow. I'm teaching it to you, so I'm just sort of trying to slow it down so you get it. And any other parts in this? I think that's gonna. Do you really want to work on more than that? I wouldn't, so I'll stop there. Thank you very much for listening to my playing today. Hopefully you dug it. I certainly did. That was fun. And my best advice to you is, you know, if you're working on an instrumental tune, find some lyrics and make a melody to that, and then it gives you a structure to work with, and then you can let the structure fall and go crazy and play some of the wild stuff in between. But it's nice to have both. All right, you know what to do. Rock and roll!